Chase just did a massive refresh on the Sapphire Reserve, and with it, a huge price increase. The annual fee has jumped from $550 to an eye-watering $795. That's a $245 increase. And with a price tag like that, you have to ask the question, is the new Chase Sapphire Reserve still the king of premium travel cards, or has it become this elite niche product for only the most savvy of credit card churners? That's exactly what we're going to break down today. We're going to dive into the new benefits, the new credits, the new earning structure, and this confusing new points boost system that Chase has introduced. We'll find out if you can actually come out ahead with this card and who it's truly for. Stick around into the end and I'll give you my final verdict on whether you should be keeping this card, getting it for the first time, or if it's time to break up with the Chase Sapphire Reserve for good. My name is Mary and I teach you how to maximize your points, miles, and money so that you can travel the world for nearly free. So let's get into it. The first thing that we need to talk about is that annual fee, $795. That's a huge leap from the old $550, and it immediately places the Sapphire Reserve into this new category of ultra premium credit cards. In fact, this new price makes it directly comparable to its long-standing rival, the Amex Platinum, which recently increased its own annual fee to an even more eye-watering $895. This cements in a new era for high-cost travel cards. The old Chase Sapphire Reserve was loved because the credits were so simple and useful. You had a $300 travel credit that was automatically applied to virtually any travel purchase, and that credit, thankfully, is still there and it's still as flexible as ever. So it's the one credit that you don't have to think about, because if you aren't spending at least $300 on any type of travel throughout the year, then this card really isn't for you anyway. But to make up for that extra $495, Chase has essentially taken a page out of the American Express playbook. They're introducing what I call the coupon book model. You now get a bunch of other statement credits, but they're very specific, very niche, and they're not as flexible. We're talking hundreds of dollars in value, but you have to actually use them to get that value back, and sometimes that can be hard to do. Let's break down these new credits and see if they work for you. First up, there's a new $500 credit for The Edit. This is Chase's curated collection of luxury hotels and resorts. Essentially, this is Chase's version of the American Express Fine Hotels and Resorts program. When you book through this program, you get perks like a $100 property credit, free breakfast for two, and a possible room upgrade. The $500 credit is currently broken down into two $250 credits from January to June and then July to December. However, starting January 1st, 2026, Chase is making this credit more flexible, allowing you to use both $250 credits on two separate qualifying two-night minimum stays anytime within the year. This is a huge improvement, but here's the catch. You still have to book a two-night minimum stay through their portal. These hotels are often beautiful, but they can be pricey, and the rates aren't always competitive. So you really need to compare prices when you're going through the edit versus booking direct to make sure that you're not overpaying too much just to use up this credit. And speaking of hotel credits, Chase has added an entirely separate one-time $250 credit specifically for the 2026 calendar year. This credit is available for prepaid bookings of a minimum of 2 nights at select branded hotels through the Chase Travel Portal. This new bonus credit is a clear response to the competition of the Amex Platinum, and the best part is it can potentially stack with your $500 The Edit credit and the standard $300 travel credit, giving cardholders over $1,000 in hotel and travel credits in 2026 alone. So this is a really awesome addition. Now, we also have a $300 annual dining credit for the Sapphire Reserve exclusive tables program. This is also split into two $150 credits every 6 months. It's an interesting concept and might be beneficial to you if you're in their footprint. But what if there are no restaurants in your area that are part of this program? Or what if you just don't eat out at these types of places? This credit can quickly become worthless. As of now, there are about 275 restaurants in more than 25 cities nationwide. That's not that many, so you may or may not get use out of this credit. But we have even more new credits. There's a $300 annual StubHub credit, again split into two $150 credits. This credit is scheduled to run through December 31st, 2027. If you're a concert or sports fan, this could be a home run for you. If you don't go to live events or have no interest in doing so, then that's another $300 in value that just won't apply to you. Now, you could potentially buy and resell tickets so that you can use up this credit, but that does require some extra work, and not everyone's going to be willing to do that. This card is also offering up to $250 in value for complimentary Apple TV and Apple Music subscriptions and $120 in Peloton credits. Both of these benefits are scheduled to run through June 2027 and December 2027, respectively. If you already subscribe to these services, then these credits are a direct win, essentially making them free. If not, then they're just another line item in the coupon book that might not be worth chasing. And this is a crucial point. So when Chase says that it has over $2,700 in annual value, you need to be realistic. Can you actually use most or all of those credits? But that's not the end of it. The card is also offering a completely separate set of additional benefits for its high spending customers. So if you spend $75,000 on this card in a calendar year, you unlock an entirely new tier of additional benefits. These benefits include IHG One Rewards Diamond Elite status. This is the top tier of IHG's loyalty program. It gives you benefits like free breakfast, lounge access, and more. Southwest Airlines A-List status. A-List status gives you priority boarding, a dedicated phone line, and other perks that can make a huge difference in your travel experience when you're flying Southwest. You also get a $500 Southwest Airlines credit. This is a substantial credit that can be used on Southwest flights booked through the Chase travel portal. And a $250 credit for the shops at Chase. So this credit is for a curated online shopping portal with premium brands. Now, Chase just recently added a new benefit for spending $75,000 in a calendar year. You'll now be able to get Explorer status with Hyatt for this spend in 2026. It's interesting, but really, the only good status with Hyatt that's worth it is Globalist. This is just a totally different credit card compared to the simplicity of the old Sapphire Reserve. It's a clear move by the banks to reward and retain the highest spenders in their portfolio. So for someone whose spending habits don't naturally reach this high level, like $75,000 in spend level, this isn't a target that you should be trying to hit. Even if you manufacture your spend, I can think of about 10 better cards to put that kind of spend on compared to this one. But for those who are high spenders and only want one card, then this could be a good fit, and then you have some nice additional benefits. So we've talked about the credits, but we haven't even touched on the new earning structure yet, which is just as important and perhaps more complicated. If you've learned something so far, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you've learned a couple things so far, maybe consider subscribing. So let's move on to the points. This is where the real value of the Chase ecosystem lies. You used to get 3x points on all travel and dining. Easy. The new earning rates are a little different, and this is a big change for many people. So let's take a look. You get 8x on Chase Travel Portal purchases after your $300 travel credit is used, 4x on flights and hotels booked directly, 3x on dining worldwide, and 1x on all other purchases. Now, at first glance, the 8x and 4x sound fantastic. But again, you have to read between the lines. You're no longer getting 3x on all travel. So this is a devaluation for anyone who used the card for things like ride shares, public transit, or even cruises and tours. Those now only earn 1x. So the earning structure is a little bit more targeted. It rewards you heavily for booking through the Chase portal and for booking flights and hotels directly, but then it penalizes you for a lot of other common travel spending. I do think that 4x on flights and hotels booked directly is pretty nice. But the Amex Platinum gets 5x on all flights booked directly, so there is that. The most confusing part is still to come. What are your points worth when you're booking through the Chase travel portal? This is where the concept of this new points boost comes in. What is it? Is it a good thing, or is it a major devaluation in disguise? This is probably the most controversial change of all. For years, the value of the Sapphire Reserve was that your points were worth 1.5 cents each when redeemed for travel through the Chase travel portal. This was a simple, dependable, and very valuable benefit. It made points easy to understand and use, but that's now gone. Chase has replaced it with a new dynamic point system called Points Boost. The idea is that you can get up to 2 cents per point on select flights and hotel stays booked through the Chase portal. Sounds incredible, right? Well, here's the reality of it. These points boosts only apply to a very limited number of flights and hotels, and the ones that qualify are often in premium cabins or luxury hotels. It seems like less than 10% of the economy flights that you see in the portal have a points boost option. And even on those, the price isn't always a good deal compared to just booking direct. So you might get a high cents per point value, but if the cash price of the ticket is inflated to begin with because you're not booking direct, then you're not actually coming out ahead. So for the vast majority of your travel redemptions, your points will now be worth just 1 cent per point through the portal. And that is a massive devaluation in itself. A 33% drop in value for one of the most common ways to redeem your points. The 1.5x multiplier was a safety net and the reason that you could always get great value with your ultimate rewards when you had a Sapphire Reserve card. So that safety net's gone. For a more detailed, in-depth breakdown of how the Points Boost feature works, be sure to click on this video here, and I'll also link it in the description below. So who is the new Chase Sapphire Reserve for? I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's for everyone anymore. The old Sapphire Reserve was a fantastic card for a huge range of people. It was a no-brainer, and it was also a good card for beginners. The math just worked out and it made sense. But with the $795 annual fee and this fragmented coupon book of credits, it's now a different animal. This card is now likely best for a very specific type of person, the credit card maximizer or churner, the person who meticulously tracks every single credit and makes sure they maximize every single dollar of value. If you already use StubHub or if you're a big fan of Apple TV and Apple Music, if you can organically use the dining credit, and if you're a high spender who might reach those elite status thresholds, then yeah, you can definitely come out ahead. Or even if you don't really care about those credits, but know that you can max them out just to get your money back from the annual fee, then the math works out beautifully. Let's take a look at the math. A $795 annual fee, subtract the $300 travel credit that everyone can use, that brings your effective annual fee to $495. Now subtract the $500 edit credit. If you can use that, then all of a sudden you're coming out ahead. Add in the dining and StubHub credits, and you can be hundreds of dollars ahead even before you factor in the value of your points from the sign-up bonus. For this person, the math works out well. But for the average traveler, the person who liked the old simplicity and flexibility, this card is just a lot harder to justify. If you don't use StubHub, if there are no Sapphire exclusive restaurants in your area, and if you don't plan on booking a 2-night stay at a luxury hotel, then a lot of that value is just gone. Your effective annual fee is now something like $500, and you might not be getting anything more than lounge access and the same travel protections that you were before. And with this massive devaluation of the travel portal, you're now forced to either hope that your desired flight has a points boost, or you're pushed to transfer your points to travel partners. And although transferring to partners is often the best value anyway, it's now not as simple to quickly know that you're getting the most value out of your points compared to when the portal rates were at a consistent 1.5 cents per point. Because let's just say that transferring to partners is going to give you a value of 1.7 cents per point. Now you have to check the portal to see if you can get up to 2 cents per point if you want to maximize your points. So here's my final take. The new Chase Sapphire Reserve is for a different type of consumer than it was before. It's no longer a simple, flexible, and universally valuable card. It has moved firmly into the Amex Platinum style of premium cards with a focus on specific credits that you must actively track and use. For the savvy churner, the points maximizer, or the person who genuinely and organically uses all these credits, this card can still provide incredible value. If you're maxing out at least half of the credits on top of the travel credit, then you're getting far more than you pay for. And the welcome bonus right now is also very generous with 125,000 points. That bonus, when transferred to partners, can be worth thousands of dollars. But for everyone else, for the casual traveler who liked the old simplicity, the new Chase Sapphire Reserve is a harder sell. The annual fee is high, and the credits are more restrictive and take a little bit more work to get your money back from them. The new points boost system is confusing, and it's ultimately a devaluing change for most people who book economy travel. So what are your options? Option 1, keep the card. If the new credits fit your lifestyle and you're confident that you can recoup the value, then there's no reason to cancel. The travel protections are still industry leading, and the lounge access is great. You can still get amazing value out of this card. Option 2, downgrade or cancel. If you look at the new credits and feel like you'll be leaving hundreds of dollars on the table, it might be time to downgrade to the Chase Sapphire Preferred or one of the Freedom cards. The Preferred card is a fantastic product in its own right with a much more manageable $95 annual fee. You'll still earn a solid 3x on dining and 2x on travel, and you can still transfer your points to all of Chase's great travel partners. So crunch the numbers for your own personal situation. Don't fall for the headline, over $2,700 in value. Be honest with yourself about which credits you can actually use. For some, the new Sapphire Reserve is a home run. For many, it's a strikeout. If you're interested in signing up for the Chase Sapphire Reserve or Sapphire Preferred, you'll find my referral links in the description. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and consider subscribing for more deep dives into the world of credit cards and travel hacking. And now that you know all about the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you'll want to get some more details about the Chase Points Boost. You can click into that video right here, so go ahead and click into it and I'll see you over there.